Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. It's Monday morning, the 21st of October. Basil has not been at work today. Got up and was all sort of ready to go, and the bloody van wouldn't start, and we had no jump lead, so I decided to take the day off, whack it on charge, let me customer know, because it was going to be a later start anyway. I'm just going to have to work me nicky nacky news off for the rest of the week. But I've done a couple of bits at home, so not a completely wasted day. And now I think it's time for a beer review. And it's a beer that was very kindly sent to me from Liam at Deep in Brews Reviews. Go and check him out, go and show him some love. Have a sub, have a watch. And it's from a brewery that is very much local to him. I think he's from Market Deepin. I think that's what it's called. And this brewery is in Market Deepin. And it's from Bowler's Brewery. And this is a bottle of their American Pale Ale. I actually thought this was about 4.5% or something, but this is actually coming in at 5.7% ABV. Independent Beer Awards winner, a SIBA Silver in the regional bottle can winner, IPA from 5.5 to 6.4. So it's got a little bit of pedigree, if you like. Lovely artwork. Bear with me, bit of a cough. There we go. Lovely artwork. 500ml bottle, green crown, and just quickly on the back it says, refreshing hints of citrus and pine dominate the mild malt sweetness, woody aromas and bitter finish, store chilled, upright and pour carefully, may contain sediment. So I don't have one of their glasses. It's going to go in traditional standard sort of stonehouse glass. It's come out the fridge. It's not particularly cold. I'm quite surprised, really. My fridge, I don't know if my fridge is playing up or it's I've got too many beers in there and nothing's getting cold. I don't know, but let's get it cracked open and see what we get. Oh, it's shot its bolt a bit, probably with me chucking it here, there and everywhere. Now, I have had a couple of their beers and I've got to say I was a little bit disappointed with them. If I'm totally honest, I think they had a few issues with some of the bottling as well, with beers being overcarbonated, but this one seems to be okay. It did want to come out the bottle rather quick. So, big thank you to Liam for this. Beer in a glass. It's got that sort of West Coast look, if you like. It's very much a sort of burnt orange looking sort of beer. We've got about a finger of, looks like a nice thick head. Hazy, and a few bubbles going up. I'm not sure if it's a nucleated glass. It's not a nucleated glass, so it's not going to give it wild carbonation, but it looks pretty decent. So let's give it a swirl and see what we get on the nose. Still getting over this little bit of a lurgy, so hopefully I will pick stuff up. Oh yeah, pick that up. Citrus, orange, marmalade, sweet malt. I'm getting a resinous, but I'm not getting that pine feel to it, but that could just be my nose. Yeah, smells decent. It smells like an American Pale Ale for me. A little bit on the sort of British English side though, if you know what I mean. But yeah, smells decent. Now, I am going to pour it sort of carefully. In fact, I'm going to leave that because I will swirl it at the end. So this is what it looks like without me doing too much to it. But once I've done a little bit and we pour some more in, we'll see if the beer changes. So let's dive in on Bowler's Brewery, Lonesome Pine American Pale Ale, 5.7% ABV. Cheers. Okay. Let's go in again. Body. I'm finding this body very thin, if I'm honest. It feels very thin. For me, very thin, or very light, shall we say, very busy, and if I'm honest, a little bit overpowering on the alcohol. I'm finding it. But let's crack on with my usual stuff. Light body. I'm going to say thin. I can't even say it's light. I do think it's pretty thin. The carbonation is very busy. It's not particularly smooth. It's definitely quite rough around the mouth. It's not very, the mouth feels quite rough. I wouldn't say it's particularly smooth to drink. I think the beer is very light, very light. For me, I'm going to try and get all the bad points out the way, if you like, first. So most of that was all the start. For me, the alcohol at 5.7% shows its face too much. It's a bit overpowering. And in that sense, it's reminding me of, I think, the California IPA they done. That was something like 7%. The alcohol was just showing its face way too much. And for me, this is doing exactly the same. Taste-wise, it's very warm as well. It's leaving me quite warm in the chest. Taste-wise, a big sort of orange citrus note. A big sort of resinous feel in there. But I wouldn't say I'm getting any real sort of pine feel in the taste. Me personally, if I'm honest. There's maybe a touch of resinous there, but it doesn't, well, not resinous, a touch of pine in there at the start, but it doesn't hang around for long for me. The pine sort of flavour sort of disappears quite quick and it leaves you with a very resinous sort of finish. Slightly sweet malt. I've got to be honest, I'm going to put the rest of it in, but at this very moment I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of it. I think there's too many bits in this at the moment that don't do it any favours. But I've now swirled it around. It says don't put all this in, but I'm going to try it. So we may get a totally different beer. It certainly looks a bit darker and a bit hazier. You could say dishwater like, you could say. Let's go again. Let's see if we get any extra out of it. I think you maybe pick a bit more resinous up, getting that last bit in there. But overall, it still feels the same. That's giving me a big warming on the chest, which for me isn't, for a beer at 5.7, isn't a good sign, personally. But there are some nice tasting notes, but for me, in my opinion, I don't want to slate any brewery, I really don't. And I'm not going to slate these, but I've got to say I've not been massively impressed with what I've had from them. Some nice flavours in there, but I find there's more bad points about this beer than there are good points. And that's a shame, because I know Liam's had quite a few of their beers and he does like them. I know he's had a couple of stinks as well. But I've got to say, they're not a brewery that are sort of appealing to me at the moment. It's the third beer I've had from them. The first two were massively overcarbonated, and one of them almost gives me the same sort of feel as this as well. So without knocking them, maybe it's just my personal taste, I don't know, maybe they're a brewery that I'm just not sort of taking to. But personally, for me, too many bad points, personally, that overshadow the good points of this beer. On cask or on tap, would it be better? Possibly quite better. Quite possibly, I should say, it could be better. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe them bottling beers just ain't. I don't know. Like I said, the other two I had were bottled beers, and they were disappointing. And I don't know. Maybe they just don't take to bottling. I don't know. So Boulder's Brewery, American Pale Ale, their Lonesome Pine. Personally, me personally, not enough good points. Oh yeah, not for me, if I'm totally honest. So yeah, if you're local to market Deeping, and you've had this beer, let me know your thoughts on it. Shoot me down if I'm totally wrong. If you've had it from tap and it's a fantastic beer, this, that, and the other, shoot me down by all means. But for me, that one doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. A big thank you to Liam. Thank you very much for sending it out. I'm afraid it's another one that doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid, mate. But hey ho, that is the world of beer. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to go and pick it up if you want to. I'm not going to recommend it personally, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.